What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Side Hustle. I'm your host, Bryan Fonseca, and on this episode, we're going to sit down with Rob Lopez, who is now a podcast producer full-time at The Athletic, but he's had a lot of odd jobs to get to that point, and we're going to talk to him about all of that on this episode of Side Hustle. All right, Mr. Lopez, my fellow Boricua, we're gonna do this right now. Now you're at The Athletic.
Yeah.
But you've had sort of an interesting sort of road to getting there. And we've talked about this a lot, the beginning, right? What did that look like for you? Because you started at Def Pen. But before that, you sort of didn't have any direction, like sort of elaborate on that.
Yeah. With my parents, a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of Hispanic or minority families can relate. Parents don't, if you don't have a job, what are you doing in my house? Type thing, you know what I'm saying? So just trying to work at a KFC Taco Bell. Okay. Trying to make some money so I can go out or pay for my car or pay for whatever. But when I was a kid, I knew I wanted to work in sports. When I was 10, 11, 12, I always knew I wanted to work in sports because when I was probably like 13, 14, I knew, I'm probably not going to be a D1 athlete. I'm probably not maxing out at 6 feet. I'm probably not going to, run a 4.240 or anything. Yeah. I still played, intramurals and still, playing on teams or whatever. But it wasn't really, I knew it wasn't in the cards. Mm-hmm. And it was just me kind of more knowing that I had to do whatever I had to get where I wanted to go. So in high school, it was, just KFC Taco Bell just to make ends meet. Then I worked at Great Wolf Lodge, which is a resort in Poconos, as a lifeguard. Okay. In college, my mom got me a job as a toll collector. Okay. So I did that for a summer, collecting people's tolls.
What was that like?
Oh, it was horrible. And it's not like the New York, I'm not working on the Verrazano Bridge or GW or whatever. It's, a small part of the Pennsylvania Turnpike where it's like maybe you get like 5 people coming an hour.
I was gonna say, is it really lonely?
Oh my God, yeah. It was so lonely to the point where like they let you, like you could text, you could like bring a speaker in with you and listen to stuff or whatever in the booth or whatever. Kind of set it up to be your own. Like I knew people who brought in like a case of like their setup, their fan, their little TV, their X, Y, and Z, all this stuff just from over the years knowing what it's like.
Yeah. Did you ever have anything weird happen? Like any strange sort of person?
I mean, you get the occasional guy who's maybe inebriated and drives through the sign or whatever, but like nothing too crazy. I mean, just people just always trying to find a way to squirm out of the toll. I didn't know, I don't have any change, all this type of stuff. So whatever. It wasn't really anything too crazy. Good pay though, government jobs. So hey. Can't knock the people who do it. So.
Hey. And you were in college, so you need that.
Yeah. So I did that in college. I actually interned also with the MTA. That was kind of like my first breakthrough, I guess, into the media world was with actually the MTA. Okay. They have their own news show, I guess, called Transit News. It airs on public access around the city.
They do?
You can watch it. They actually have like a YouTube channel and stuff. I'm pretty sure they do at least.
Interesting.
And I forget the gentleman's name. I believe his name is Winston. But he was a typical J. Jonah Jameson type where he didn't kind of really accept anything but the best. So if we came back with trash video, trash audio, interview, whatever, he said, no, do it again. Do it again. We need to do it again. It was an internship.
Interesting.
It was awesome.
As all this is going on, are you trying to also figure out how am I going to get into sports, like doing what I want to do?
Yeah, no, that was so when I was in high school, I was editor-in-chief of my high school newspaper, and I was the sports editor twice. Yeah. And as editor-in-chief of the high school newspaper, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get into newspaper writing. I'm gonna be a beat writer. Yeah. I'm gonna do all this type of stuff. Quickly, I learned, like 2 years in, like the newspaper writing is cool, but I'm pretty good at handling that, and I can kind of formulate that stuff. With a good editor, obviously anything's possible, I say, as far as writing. Mm-hmm. Obviously you need to be a good writer and articulate and understand what you're saying. Yeah. But if you have a good team around you, you can get good content out. But what I learned is that I need to be a jack of all trades, so to speak. So I learned learned the video way, learned a little bit of audio stuff, learned Photoshop, learned those kind of basic things for 2010, right? 2009, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at it and coming in midway through 2019, almost in 2020, and we're sitting here and we're just like, all right, social media is a wave. And back then it was just Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Twitter had a little something, but like.
Back then it was Facebook and MySpace.
Right. At the end of MySpace, start of Facebook really kind of taking over as like a cultural phenomenon. But in high school, I didn't learn anything about social media.
There was no such thing as a social media job probably 10, 15 years ago.
Right. Or if it was all in the marketing.
Right.
You know, it's all marketing.
Now they're separate. Now there's entirely
work under the same umbrella, but yeah, it's different. It's different, you know. But yeah, in college, you know, it was always sports for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was gonna be written. I didn't know it was gonna be audio, video. I thought about like doing music videos because I really love music. So I was like, music videos might be fun. Let's try that.
Yeah. Be one of those people that holds the camera this way.
Yeah, just like rock with the beat, get the nice green screen.
Yeah.
As part of my on-campus internship, we did something where we kind of documented the sports teams around campus.
Yeah.
Around my school, Mejia in Northeast Pennsylvania, small school.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, I guess. But no, so we did this like docu-series, myself and another student. His name is Mike Pena.
Shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Mike, it's my guy. Where we kind of just documented different teams. So we did a soccer team thing. We followed them for a week, got a bunch of footage or whatever, and then compiled a kind of like a day in the life or a week of with that team.
Yeah. Both
soccer teams, both basketball teams, and kind of just really got into more storytelling aspect of it. So I really liked that part of it too. But I graduated college and I had learned all this stuff, and then here I was, 2013, graduated college. You know, still working in the restaurant, this time is Texas Roadhouse.
Okay.
As a server there. And then, you know, just kind of was like, what do I do next? You know, I was trying to apply everywhere. I probably have applied, oh my God, 200, probably close to 200 places. I mean, from everywhere from, you know, the big guys to, you know, even the KXYZW in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I remember doing the same thing in college. Yep.
I guess that, you know, the thing where people take a year off and travel the world or whatever, I decided to take like a year and a half off and just party hard with my friends. And that was really like what I was doing for most of the time.
Okay. And this is getting to Death Pen now. So what was going on at that point? Like because I remember you told me you had an epiphany. Right. You had the epiphany and was like, all right, I'm going to start doing this. And while you were doing the stuff with Death Pen early on, what did that look like? And what were you sort of balancing, you know, to sort of find your way?
Right. So it was 2014, actually 5 years ago, like this finals, it was 2014 NBA finals. I just remember through the playoffs, I was just tweeting random stuff. And Jared and Charlie, who used to be the NBA editor, reached out to me on Twitter, you know, DM me, whatever. They said, hey, we really like, you know, what you're saying.
They just thought you were funny?
Yeah, I just thought it was funny.
I mean, I've told you, you're probably my favorite social media follower. I've told you that.
Thanks, everybody. That's at Robato, R0BATO.
Yeah,
thanks
there you
again.
go.
No, but I was really just, it wasn't more funny. It was just more like insight stuff that I was seeing as far as the playoffs were going, right? Because they reached out to me in between the conference finals and the finals to write about, preview the NBA finals.
Okay.
So
this was Heat Spurs.
Heat Spurs 2014, yeah. So and my first post is still up there. It's crazy. Like everything's changed. How much I've grown as a writer from then. And
5 years, yeah.
I mean,
a lot could happen in 5 years.
Yeah, I just kind of started liking the news, not the news breaking, but being a part of the conversation of the NBA and sports in general.
Yeah.
Because that stuff is as interesting to me as anything. I just like being involved with the news space, being involved with social media stuff, finding a way to tweet out dumb, funny stuff, and seeing what sticks. And it was just a lot of it's trial and error. And then, like we talked about previously on your pod, I had an epiphany probably like November. I want to say like after Thanksgiving, before Christmas. So like the end of November, early December.
Yeah.
And I just woke up one morning after a night of partying, and I just looked around at a disgusting crib and my room disheveled, and I'm just like, do I want to do this? Like, this is what I'm doing for the last year and a half. I graduated in 2013. Here I am, December 2014. I'm just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? What am I really doing? Like, what did I do in the last year and a half? A lot of bad things that haven't helped me improve my career.
And you were 23 or 24, right?
23 at the time, yeah.
Okay. And you were doing what while balancing because your responsibilities with Def Pen grew. You know, you started doing like social media editing.
Right.
You were managing, I think, the Hoops page, right?
Right. So when I completely decided to,
and you moved when you had that epiphany. You moved from PA to.
Yeah. So what I did was I transferred, basically, long story short, transferred my lease to a buddy. He moved in and took the rest of my lease over. I packed all my stuff, packed it up, and I think in my mom's car or whatever. And moved in with family in New York.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have to do this. So
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be a lot of not probably financial stability for a while.
Oh yeah. Media life.
Just because I'm taking the leap into something that's unknown. You know what I mean? And you know, Def Pen is a great website. And you know, shout out to Jared and everybody over there.
Yeah.
They really gave me my first shot, but you know, it's still a smaller.
It's a startup.
It's a smaller entity in comparison to guys like ESPN or Yahoo or anything like that.
Yeah.
So they don't have billion-dollar investor in the back pocket or anything like that. So it's kind of us just kind of, all right, let's try something here. I stepped up and I said, hey, we need to start social media. We need to start, you know, really pumping out social media, social content. We need to start trying to be a part of the conversation as opposed to wait for the conversation. Mm-hmm. And we need to do long form articles that will both withstand the test of time and also are relevant to the conversation that's happening at the time. And then also up here, another Texas Roadhouse up here, I started serving there part-time too, a little bit.
Huh. So how, because you just got to the Athletic, you know, fairly recently.
Yeah.
But how long was it just sort of were you at Texas Roadhouse for?
So it's funny because, you know, I was doing Def Pen in Texas Roadhouse for probably three years in and out. You know, I would take my breaks during the finals, NCAA tournament, because at Def Pen I was helping all sports.
Yeah.
So I was helping with college hoops, football, baseball, and then last year around this time I started up with Count the Dings with Jade Hoy,
right?
Former ESPN producer. When the ESPN exodus occurred, I guess you could say.
Well, one of them, yeah.
Well, so a lot of people didn't have a plan after that, or a lot of people, you know, without naming any names, were kind of ordered to run out their contract and weren't allowed to do anything else. So he started up Count the Dings, which is a podcast company that he started. Kind of started it on Patreon.
Yeah, wildly successful now.
Pretty big. I saw him starting that, and I was a fan of the podcast when they were at ESPN, the True Hoop Network, and I listened to it, you know, daily whenever they had it. And I saw he was starting Count the Dings, and I was like, Jade, I was like, look, man, you need help. I told him, I was like, you need help. I want to help. I want to be a part of this. I want to help you.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't even have to pay me. I was like, look, like, I want to help. I want to be involved. I want to be a part of this. I never produced a podcast before, really, outside of me messing around on Audio Mac or whatever, and like, oh, this sounds good. Like, I had a college radio show in college, but that was like for credit for a class. You know, it wasn't anything in depth.
And it was a while before.
Oh, I mean, everything has changed so much.
It's crazy because like you're looking at all that stuff now, and you were also at FanDuel for a while doing social media, Counting Things.
So I was at one time I was doing Counting Things, FanDuel, and Def Pen at the same time.
And now it's just the Athletic.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? Like, and we'll end it here, but like, how do you look at that? Where 5 years ago I was looking around in my apartment and I was like, damn, what am I doing? And then now I'm full time at the Athletic.
Yeah, I mean, you could say, and you know,
as a podcast producer,
knock on wood, you know, you never know what happens tomorrow or anything, but you know, you look at it as a culmination of, I guess, hard work, but it's not, you know, it's not the end by any means, and that's not saying I'm gonna go anywhere or anything like that, but I think there's still a lot of room for opportunity and the ability for me to grow in what I do, whatever it is. I just know this is a good step for me in the right direction. And I think it's just kind of crazy how the Athletic wasn't even a thing 5 years ago.
Right.
And now here I am, you know, helping produce some of the best content out there. So I just, you know, grateful, thankful, and appreciative of the opportunities. And it's just blows my mind every day that this is my job.
Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Rob Lopez. We'll be back next week for some more side hustle content. That's all we have for now. Stay tuned.